Okay, so now we've built our GIMX adapter. I've got one end, both ends plugged into the PC. You have to start with that because you need to update the adapter first. And what you should find when you plug it in is that they will appear on the COM ports of your computer. So you need to look at Device Manager. So if you press Windows X and then go to Device Manager, you should see under COM ports, you should see the USB UART bridge there. That is the serial USB controller, and the Arduino Micro should also appear, and they'll have different COM ports on them. So one's like on this, one is COM 7 and one is COM 9. And what you need to do is update the Arduino firmware. And for the Arduino Micro, you can't use the Gimx software. You have to use something else. You have to use something called Arduino Builder. So if I go onto that website, that's this. This is where you can get Arduino Builder. It's Freematic's Arduino Builder. It's going to download, and then it's just started to download, and you need to install that. And that program looks like this. And then you'll need to select the correct Arduino, which is the Arduino Micro. That's the one I've got. You need to load the sketch. Now this is the program that's going to be put onto the Arduino. So I'm using the G27 sketch. So in order to do that, you need to have already installed GIMX. So let's look at GIMX and how you install that. So we need to go and install the Gimx Software. That you can find at this website. Again, I'll put all these in the description. So that's this. You'll click on this Gimx page. Again, I'll put this link in the description. You can see that. And then you go here to 64-bit setup if you're on Windows 11. And you click that, and that will download this Gimx 8, which is the latest. And you'll need to install that. When you install that, you'll end up with 3 programs. You end up with Gimx FPS config, Gimx config, and Gimx launcher. When you launch Gimx launcher, it will tell you that you want to. Well, first you'll install it. First you install Gimx launcher, and then when you run it, this is what comes up. I think I've just loaded it twice. Here we go. So your output is to the Gimx adapter. The COM port should be the COM port of the adapter. The first thing to do is install the Gimx launcher, but you'll find that you can't update the firmware from here for your Arduino Micro because it's designed for a different Arduino. So you can't use this update firmware. And I want the G27, which is this EMU G27, because I want to make the thing think it's a G27. If I load that, it's not going to work. And a Pro micro board. Right, see, and I don't have the Pro micro board. So this is the problem. Really, you should have the Pro micro board. Well, I just have a micro. So I think it's not going to work. Have done that. And then it says unplug and replug the cable from the USB port. So that is this one. That's the USB cable. Plug that back. I didn't do it quickly enough. It wants to do it within 10 seconds. So let's just try that again. Oh. Okay. Plug both sides into the computer. Yep. Unplug and replug. I think you'll find it doesn't work. It says connecting to programmer. I think you'll find it doesn't work. Was I too low when I showed you? Yeah, it says that programmer is not responding. So this is not compatible with this Arduino board. So I don't know what an Arduino Micro Pro is, but I don't have that one. So I probably should have bought that one. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? Hindsight's 2020. So that isn't working. So we'll close that. It didn't load the firmware, so we're going to have to load the firmware separately. So what we'll do, we know what we want, which is the G27 hex. That's the program we want to load. So we're going to use Arduino Builder to put that on. So you need to install Arduino Builder, and that is from that was from this website, and that program looks like, I didn't really give you enough time to look at that. That is from this Freemantics Arduino Builder website, which again I'll put in the link in the description, make it easy for you to find. You can download it from there, it'll automatically download, and then you can run that. Okay, I have already running it. So that's this. You need to find the COM port of the Arduino Micro board, which, as I showed you on Device Manager, again Windows X, Device Manager, go down to ports COM and LPT. You'll see the Arduino Micro is on COM port 9. So I need to find the binary sketch, and I'll go to where I've installed the Gimx software and go into Gimx firmware, and then I'm looking for G27, and I'm going to open that, and then in order to get it to go, I just press, I need to have selected Arduino Micro here. Let me put that there. I need to have selected Arduino Micro here. So I've loaded the sketch, select Arduino Micro, and then click COM9, which we've seen is the correct COM port on Device Manager. Why does it do this? Yeah, COM port 9 on Device Manager. So let's close that. So I'll select COM port 9, and it should just upload it straight away, and it should do it. Now the downside of this is that it now won't appear. It now won't appear on here anymore. And if you want to change to say like a G29 instead of G27, you'll find that you can't then do this again because the COM port won't appear because it's no longer appearing on Device Manager. So in order to get it back, if you ever want to get it back, you'll need to use the Arduino IDE. So you'll need to download Arduino IDE, which you can get from this website. That's here. Again, I'll put the links in the description. You can download the latest release for Windows here. That would immediately download this IDE, and you can install that. And when you do, it looks like this. I've already got it loaded. It looks like this, except this will be blank. Right, and in order to get your Arduino Micro back into a position where you can use it, you will need to put a small program in here and upload it at exactly the right time. But not only that, it's more complicated than that. It's more complicated than that because you need to load this program in whilst it's still connected to your computer. You'll see that if I reset the Arduino Micro and show you device manager, right, if I press the reset button on the Arduino Micro, so I'm using a pencil and pressing that button in there, you'll see that it appears very briefly. Will it? Alright, yeah, it's just right. You see it's loaded on COM 8, and then within about 8 seconds it'll disappear again. Inconvenient, right? So the only way you can like reflash this is if you manage to get the program installed during that 8-second period. So you need a very tiny program to get it back. So you go onto the Arduino IDE, right, and then you need to load it whilst the COM port is active, because otherwise when you go into the COM ports in here, you'll find that the one you need isn't there, right? I know, this is bonkers. Right, so what I need to do is load this program. I need to load Arduino IDE just as I press this button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click that and then press the button, and hopefully, if I've done it right, the IDE port with the Arduino Micro was there, look, on COM port 8. So I can select, it's gone away again now, but I did it at the right time, so it now appears in this list. So I can select it. Right, I can't, it says it's not connected down here because it only connects for 8 seconds. So now I've got this small program which is just it would make an LED flash, a very tiny program. So it needs to be small because I need to get it installed within the 8 seconds so it stays connected to the computer. Anyway, this right, so in order to get that installed, I copy this small piece of code, which again I'll include in the description, into what is the programming part of the Arduino, and then I shall send it. I shall compile it and send it to the Arduino Micro. So I've got the COM port. It's gone away. I had it selected. It knows anyway. I had it selected as COM port 8. It knows what one it's on. If I press that reset button again, you'll see it goes connected. Very briefly, hopefully. No. Huh. Okay, that's not gone well. Let's just try this again. Okay, I'm gonna load this Arduino thing and press the button, and hopefully it appears on here. COM port. I select that. Arduino Micro on COM port 8. Right, and then hopefully I can upload that. And while it's compiling, I'll press the button, and then it'll upload. Uploading, done uploading, just before it shut down again. So now it appears permanently on COM port 9. So now I can go back to the Arduino Builder and and now I can go back to Arduino Builder and throw a different firmware to the Arduino Micro if I want. So if I want like the G29 instead, I can do that. I would be able to select like the G29 PS4 hex and send that one instead. But I found that the G27 works. I haven't tried the G29, but I found the G27 works for me. So I shall send that again and show you how I did that again. So it's on COM port 9. I just press this and it will go to the box. So I'll do that. It uploads it, finds it, done. Right, so that should be done, and on the device. So that is how you can update the firmware on the device. Okay. So now this should work. But so the other pieces of hardware that you need. So you've got the Gimx software. You've got the firmware updated. You've got a couple of things that you need to do. You need to configure your hardware using GIMX config. So let's get rid of that and look at GIMX config. So this is how you tell the serial controller what buttons to do what in your game on the PlayStation. So for example, you want to do G27 because that's what I downloaded onto the box, or G29 if you pick the G29 profile. So click G27 and then you'll go into the buttons and then you've got like select, start, up, right, left, down, triangle, circle, cross, square, and L1, R1, L2, R2. These are all the standard buttons, base buttons on the controller. So you probably want to map those, and also you want to map the gas, brake and clutch pedals, but those are axes if you're using pedals. So you need to do all of those. So for each button, so for example, if I want to do like the up D-pad button, I'll press auto detect and then I'll press a button on the controller. So if I press auto detect, then I press a button on the controller, click that one. Right, that's from my Sim Experience AccuForce wheel. So I pressed auto detect, press the up button, which is one of the buttons on the AccuForce, and then I can add that, and then I can go on and go to the next one. So the right button, press auto detect, press the right button on the AccuForce wheel. And everything crashes. Alright, there you go. Maybe I didn't press it hard enough, and then I can add that, and then if I press the down button, again click auto detect and press down, there you go, button 2, and then I can add that one, and so I can go through all the buttons on the controller, but also I want to do the axes. So this is like the steering wheel. So if I do axis and then I do wheel, and then I press auto detect, and then I'll need to move the wheel on the Sim Experience wheel. Just move it. It should detect it. There you go. So it's detected the wheel movement, and then I can add that, and then I can do the pedals. So I choose like the gas pedal. Auto detect, now I need to press the gas pedal, which I can't reach from here. Press that. And now it's picked up on the mouse, that's not right. Cancel that. I just click that auto detect again. Auto detect. Press the gas pedal. Why are they not detecting it? Oh, there we go. Very strange. And then add that. Oh, and then it's asking for calibration, so I need to fully press the pedal, fully release the pedal, and then press the button. Fully pressed, fully released, press the button on the mouse. It didn't work. I don't know why. Let's remove that one. Add that one. Fully press the pedal. Fully release the pedal. Press the button. Okay, and there we go. That's added. And you do that for every pedal. So you've done the buttons, you've done the pedals, and then you also need to, with my wheel, the force feedback was inverted, so you may or may not need to do this. You'll know if the force feedback is inverted when you've connected the GIMX to your PlayStation and you're playing a game, because any movement, any deviation from the center of the wheel, and it will just run away with you and carry on steering all by itself. And I'll show you an example of that. So the issue I have is that the force feedback is inverted, so it means that it's constantly trying to take me off the track. I can't hold it straight, and this results in a problem. If I let go of the steering wheel, then it will just go to full lock very quickly. So let me just show you that. I'll get to a straight, and then the amusing part is the speed at which it's a very powerful wheel, so catching this is not easy. It's quite dangerous. If your hand was in here when it does this, it might take your wrist off. It might take your arm off. And if I press the quit button, I think it's this one, you can see it does that. So clearly I've got inverted force feedback, which I need to sort out. But to fix it, you need to go to overall, and then you need to go to force feedback tweaks, and then you need to auto detect, and then you need to move your wheel. So just move the wheel. It's having trouble finding things today. There you go. And then if you need to invert the direction of the force feedback, you can do that, and also you can change damper in here. So I guess if you were getting oscillations, you could modify those. Anyway, so that's the config, and then you'll save that. So if I save that as example, underscore broken because it's not finished, unfinished. Okay. Then when you, so I can then close that. Then when you go to your GIMX launcher, which I think is already running, it is. then you can select it from here. So I should see my I should see it in this list. Yeah, example unfinished. So that's the one we've just made, and here's one that I've made earlier that works. Okay, now the COM port in here is not the COM port for the Arduino, it is the COM port for the serial adapter. So if I go back to Device Manager, you'll see that that is the serial adapter. Silicon Labs CP2100X is on COM port 7, and that is the correct one that should be showing here. Okay, so we're nearly ready to go. We're nearly ready to press this start button. There are a couple of other pieces of hardware that you need for a PlayStation 5 if you want force feedback, and they are these things, which I'm going to show you now. You need a Hori wired mini controller. Again, I'll put a link in the description for where you can buy this. I got mine off Amazon, and it was about £25, I think. And you also need the Collective Minds Drivehub. And what you'll do is you'll plug the controller into this here, and that tells the PlayStation that you've got a legitimate controller. And then you'll plug the other end of this, the console end, into the console, and the wheel controller will be the one that plugs into the Arduino. So that's the micro USB port. So you unplug that from the PC and you plug that into the wheel controller. But before you do any of that, you should update the firmware on this, the Collective Minds Drivehub. So if you go to the Collective Minds website, I'll show you that now. There is a firmware updater on there. So Collective Minds website. Well, what am I doing? Losing my marbles. Minds Drivehub. Firmware update. So if you go onto this website, you'll find that there is keep your Drivehub race ready. So you click on this, it will download a program, the CMU update tool, and then you'll load that program in. So if I open that, right, I just get rid of that. You'll see that it says Collective Minds firmware update tool. Please select your device to continue. And then what you'll do is you'll plug the Creative Minds Drivehub directly into your PC, and then it'll find it, and then you can then update the firmware from there, which takes a few seconds. And you should probably do that first. Although, yeah, you should probably do that first, and then you can plug this into your PlayStation, and then you're almost ready. At that point, you're nearly ready to get going and play. What you would need to do is, so you've got the USB part of the GIMX plugged into your PC. You've got the micro USB plugged into the Drivehub, which looks like this. So that's the micro USB end. You've got the mini controller plugged into the Drivehub, and you've got the Drivehub plugged into your PlayStation 5. So far so easy, right? then you need to turn the PlayStation 5 on using the power button on the PlayStation 5. Alright, that then powers the Drivehub, and hopefully it should be in race mode, which is the one where it does a figure of 8. If it's not in race mode, then you have to press P1, I believe, and unplug and replug this in to get it into race mode. It needs to be in race mode, and then what you then do is load the GIMX launcher. Right. Hopefully this is all going to work, otherwise it's going to there we go. So the GIMX launcher, right, it's spotted COM7. This is my profile that I've loaded, and I need to start this. If I start this, hopefully it will run. Okay, it's running. It's found the GIMX adapter. It's recognised it as a G27 PS3, so that's good. Okay, I think I've uploaded the right one. Right, and then it is saying it's found it. Hopefully it said G27 on here. As it was doing that, hopefully you saw it come up on there saying G27. So that should then be connected, and then all you need to do is go onto your PlayStation 5 and try loading your copy of Gran Turismo 7, and then select the G29 wheel, and then your wheels and pedals should be detected by the game, and jobs are good. That's it. That's all you need to do. It's so simple, right? It's so simple. Okay, so that's all I've got for today. Hopefully that has helped you get to grips with GIMX. It's taken me a little while to get to grips with it, but it is all working now. And hopefully that's told you how you can upload the firmware and reset your Arduino to accept more firmware, and do the config for your controllers, and launch the GIMX launcher, and all of those things. So hopefully that has helped you. If you've got any questions, then put them in the comments, and I don't know, I might try and answer them. But as I say, it's new to me, so hopefully what I've given you is enough to get you started. Alright, I'll catch you in the next one. So all that remains for me to do is to stop the recording and hope that it's recorded. Okay, cheers, bye.